All right, so we've got a whole stack of Joseph Murphy's stuff to go through today. And we're talking about attracting wealth, but not like winning the lottery or anything like that. We're going to take a deep dive into Murphy's philosophy about how our minds shape our financial reality.
Yeah, exactly. Not shortcuts or anything. It's about tapping into this power we all have that we often don't even realize is there.
Okay, so where do we even begin with all this? This phrase keeps popping up everywhere. Spirit of opulence. What is that?
That's like a complete mental shift. Most people, without even realizing it, view money as something scarce, something that only a few lucky people get to enjoy. But Murphy says that's totally backwards. There's abundance everywhere. But you have to align your mind with that truth first.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but how do we actually do that?
Yeah.
Does thinking positive really change my bank account balance?
It's more than just thinking positive. Murphy gives a great example of this businessman who was struggling financially. And he used 3 specific steps consistently and saw huge changes in his business.
Okay, lay it on me. What were the steps?
First, he constantly affirmed this statement: God is the instant and immediate source of my supply, presenting me with all the ideas necessary at every moment of time and point of space.
So he's basically just declaring that abundance is flowing to him all the time.
Right. And the second step was visualization. He would picture his business deals going through successfully and really imprinting that success on his mind.
Interesting. Okay, so we've got affirmations, we've got visualization. What's the third piece of this puzzle?
Every night before bed, he would affirm this: I am ever grateful for God's riches that are ever active, ever present, unchanging, and eternal.
So is he ending the day reinforcing this idea of abundance?
Exactly.
So anyone can just repeat these phrases and become a millionaire?
Well, not quite. It's the consistency and the belief behind the words. Think of thought like a force, like steam. A little bit of steam won't really do much, but when it's focused and channeled like in a steam engine, it can be incredibly powerful.
I like that analogy. So it's not hoping, it's consistent mental action. But Murphy doesn't just talk about money, does he? I was reading about his idea about knowledge itself being a form of wealth.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He gives the example of this young Greek tour guide. She used her language skills to get a great job in America. And then the wine salesman, he was so passionate about his product that he became super successful.
And there's that story of the surgeon who envisioned his father funding his education, even though his father had no money.
Right. All these examples just highlight how knowledge opens doors, but it also goes deeper. It builds confidence. And Murphy talks about believing in yourself all the time and believing in your ability to succeed.
Okay, so we've got mindset, we've got knowledge. What else does Murphy say about building this foundation for attracting wealth?
He talks a lot about this thing he calls tithing, but it's not just about money.
Yeah, I remember that. He talks about giving time and energy to a higher purpose. What did he mean by that?
He tells this great story about a lawyer who was trying to resolve a conflict. And instead of just donating money, he focused his mental energy on a harmonious outcome.
So he wasn't spending money, he was tithing his mental focus on a solution. And it worked.
Yeah, and it worked.
So it's like actively aligning yourself with that law of increase by being generous, not just with money, but with your thoughts and your actions.
Exactly. It's recognizing that the more you give in every sense of the word, the more you open yourself up to receiving.
That's a pretty radical way of looking at giving back. It's not just charity, it's a universal principle of energy exchange.
Yeah, for sure. And it ties back into that core idea of abundance. You have to operate from generosity, not scarcity, if you want to attract wealth. And that leads us to this fascinating idea about the power of imagination. Murphy tells all these really captivating stories about people who achieve these seemingly impossible things just by using their imagination.
Yeah, like that one about the little Spanish girl who wanted a bicycle so bad that she basically pretended that she already had it. And then, like magic, one shows up.
Right, exactly. That's a great story. It really sums up what he's talking about. It's not just wishful thinking. It's consistently holding that image in your mind, living as if your desire is already reality.
So it's like tricking your subconscious into thinking you already have what you want. And then that sets things in motion.
Exactly. And it's not just about attracting money. He talks about everything from healing illnesses to finding the perfect partner, using that principle.
Okay, I'm starting to see how these pieces fit together. We've got mindset, knowledge, giving back, and now imagination. It's like a recipe for success.
Exactly. But just like any recipe, there can be obstacles. Murphy talks a lot about these common mental blocks that get in the way of attracting wealth. Things like envy, resentment, negativity.
Yeah, like that story about the real estate salesman
Hmm?
who's so jealous of all his colleagues' success
Yeah.
that it was actually hurting his own sales.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of how negative emotions can really hold us back. We get so caught up comparing ourselves to other people that we forget to focus on our own path.
So how do you deal with those thoughts and feelings? They're going to come up sometimes, right?
Murphy's a big advocate for forgiveness. It's a way to release those negative emotions that are weighing you down. He has this really moving story about a guy who reconciled with his parents after like 20 years of not speaking to them, and how that act of forgiveness totally liberated him.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Holding on to all that negativity. It's like carrying around a heavy backpack.
Right.
It slows you down.
Exactly. And it's not just about forgiving other people, it's also about forgiving yourself for past mistakes or even just perceived failures.
Good point. We can be so hard on ourselves.
Oh, totally.
That inner critic can really keep the wealth away.
It can. And that's where gratitude comes in.
Okay, gratitude. I feel like this is a big one for Murphy. He talks about it constantly.
It's totally foundational to his whole philosophy. He sees gratitude as the key to unlocking abundance in all areas of life, including finances.
Right. I remember that story about the osteopath whose practice was struggling. And it completely turned around just by shifting to a mindset of gratitude.
Yeah, it's such an inspiring story. It shows how just appreciating what you already have can open the door for more good things to come in.
So it's not wanting more. It's being thankful for what you've got.
Right. Gratitude is like a magnet for abundance. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you're sending this message to the universe that you're ready to receive more.
I'm starting to see how all these concepts work together. Forgiveness clears out the negativity. And then gratitude fills that space with positivity, which attracts even more good things.
You got it. And that positive energy is what you need to start manifesting the things you want.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How do we go from these thoughts and feelings to actually seeing results in our lives?
Well, Murphy says that everything we experience in the physical world starts as a thought. So the first step is to become super conscious of your thoughts.
So no more dwelling on those bills or debt or, I can't afford this thinking.
Exactly. Shift your focus to thoughts of abundance, prosperity, success. And that's where affirmations come in.
Okay, affirmations. He talks a lot about those.
He does, and for good reason. Affirmations are like powerful declarations that reprogram your subconscious mind.
So you just repeat phrases like, I am wealthy, over and over again.
Well, it's a little more nuanced than that. It's about choosing affirmations that really resonate with you, that feel true and inspiring.
Like that one we talked about earlier, God's wealth is circulating in my life.
Right. That one's really powerful because it speaks to this idea of limitless abundance.
Okay, so it's not about picturing a specific amount of money. It's tapping into that infinite source of wealth.
Exactly. And it's about realizing that you are worthy of receiving all the good that life has to offer.
Okay, I'm with you on affirmations. What else does Murphy say about turning these thoughts into actual riches?
He puts a lot of emphasis on belief. He says, it is done unto you as you believe.
So you can't just think positive thoughts. You have to believe deep down that you deserve wealth and success.
Exactly. And this belief comes from understanding your connection to something greater than yourself, to that infinite source of abundance. Murphy was a big believer in God, so he often uses quotes from the Bible to emphasize that God wants us to be rich and live a full and abundant life.
So it's not about being greedy or focusing on material possessions. It's about connecting with a higher power and tapping into that universal source of abundance.
Exactly. And once you have that belief, then you got to start taking action.
Okay, so it's not enough to just sit around and wish for things to happen.
Yeah.
You have to actually do something.
Yeah, you got to do something. Visualization sets the stage, but action brings it to life. Think about it like planting a seed. You have to nurture that seed, water it, give it sunlight, and then take action to help it grow. It's the same with your financial goals.
Okay, but how do you know what actions to take? There's so many things you could do.
Well, Murphy talks a lot about intuition. You got to quiet your mind, create space for stillness, and listen to that inner voice.
Yeah, he's got that story about that businessman who was feeling stuck. He wanted to send his son to college and buy a new house, but didn't see how it was possible.
Right, and Murphy told him to go within, to listen to that still small voice. And the businessman started affirming that infinite intelligence was guiding him and opening up new doors of opportunity. And within a few days, he got a job offer with a big salary increase.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like when you get out of your own way
Yeah.
and trust that higher power things start falling into place.
Yeah. It's about letting go of control and trusting that the universe has your back.
Okay. So you're listening to your intuition, taking inspired action. Is there anything else you should be doing to manifest those riches?
Murphy talks about releasing your desires to the universe,
Yeah.
letting go of the outcome, trusting that the universe knows what's best.
Yeah, like sending a letter. You write the letter, you address it correctly, you put a stamp on it, and you drop it in the mailbox. You don't obsess over how it's going to get delivered. You just trust the Postal Service to do its job.
Right. It's the same with your desires. Define what you want, feel the emotions of having it, and then release it to the universe with faith.
So it's being clear about your intentions, putting in the work, and then letting go and trusting that the universe will handle the details.
Exactly. And that applies to all areas of your life, not just finances.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of big picture stuff. Let's get down to some specifics. What does Murphy actually recommend for attracting wealth? He mentions this idea of cultivating a spirit of opulence. What does that even mean?
It means shifting your mindset from lack to abundance, recognizing that you're worthy of receiving all the good that life has to offer, seeing wealth as something that naturally flows into your life rather than something you have to struggle for.
Okay, so more of those affirmations we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. Affirmations are so powerful for reprogramming your subconscious mind. It's like planting seeds in the fertile soil of your mind.
And he gives specific examples, right? Like saying God's wealth is circulating in my life.
Yes, that one's great. It speaks to the idea that wealth is limitless. It's constantly flowing and circulating.
So you're not picturing a limited amount of money. You're tapping into that infinite source.
Right. And he also talks about giving thanks for the wealth you already have, even if it's not what you ultimately want.
Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. It all comes back to gratitude.
It does. Gratitude is everything. When you appreciate what you have, you're sending a signal to the universe that you're ready for more. It's recognizing that abundance is already in your life, no matter how small it seems.
Yeah, he tells that story about that woman who was really struggling financially and feeling discouraged.
Right. And Murphy told her to start focusing on what she was grateful for, to find 10 things every day to appreciate. At first, she had trouble even finding one thing, but she kept at it.
So as she practiced gratitude, things started changing for her.
Yes. She had a new job, she started receiving unexpected gifts, and she started feeling way more optimistic.
It's amazing how changing your perspective can have such a big impact.
It really is. And then there's this idea of acting as if, living as if your desires are already real.
Yeah. That one's really interesting to me. It's like you're pretending, but with a purpose.
Exactly. It's a really powerful technique for aligning yourself with the reality you want to create. It's about behaving in a way that's consistent with your goals, even if you don't see the physical evidence yet.
Okay. He gives the example of that salesman who wanted to make more money.
Right. Murphy told him to start acting as if he was already making more money. He told him to buy a new suit, get a better haircut, and even upgrade his car.
So it's embodying that energy of success.
Exactly. It's feeling the emotions, visualizing the details, and behaving in a way that aligns with your desired reality. And it's not just about stuff. It's about acting as if you already have the qualities you want, like confidence or courage.
I love that. It's like faking it till you make it,
Yeah.
but with a deeper understanding.
Right. It's recognizing that your outer world is just a reflection of your inner world.
So when you cultivate those qualities, they show up in your life.
Yeah.
So it's a holistic approach. You're working on your mind, your beliefs, your actions, and even your appearance.
Right. It's aligning everything with the reality you want.
Okay. But of course there are challenges.
Of course.
Nobody's saying it's easy.
No. Murphy talks about a lot of potential pitfalls that you might encounter. Things like fear, doubt, worry.
Yeah, those can really get in your way.
They can.
So how do you deal with them?
Murphy says to face them head on. Recognize that they're often illusions. He often quotes the Bible, saying, "Fear not, for I am with you."
Right. He tells that story about that woman who was terrified of public speaking. She wanted to start her own business, but her fear was holding her back.
Yeah. And Murphy told her to start small, practice in front of a mirror, then to a friend, and then gradually work her way up to bigger groups.
Right. He told her to focus on her message
Yeah.
and the value she was bringing to people, not her own fear.
And it worked. At first it was terrifying, but she kept pushing herself. And as she faced her fear, she realized it wasn't as scary as she thought.
So the more you confront those fears, the less power they have.
Exactly. And she went on to launch a successful business, all because she overcame that fear.
That's so inspiring. It shows that We can overcome anything
Yes, we can.
as long as we face it.
Right.
And remember, courage is not the absence of fear. It's taking action even when you're afraid.
I love that.
Okay, so we've talked about fear, doubt, worry. What else? I know Murphy talks about envy and resentment and jealousy.
Yeah. Those are so toxic to your financial well-being. When you focus on what other people have, you block the flow of abundance into your own life.
She tells that story about that real estate salesman who was always comparing himself to everyone else.
Right. And he was so jealous of their success that it was literally eating him alive.
Yeah.
And it was hurting his own sales, too. He was so focused on what everyone else was doing that he wasn't putting in the work to create his own success.
So how did he turn things around?
Murphy told him to shift his focus, to start celebrating the success of others.
So instead of feeling envious of them, he should be happy for them.
Yeah, exactly. He should see their success as a sign that abundance is possible for him, too.
Did it work?
It did. He started practicing that. And his sales started increasing. It's like when you let go of the negativity, you create space for good to flow in.
It makes sense. You can't attract abundance if you're surrounded by negativity.
You can't. You have to raise your vibration.
Okay. But how do you get over those feelings of envy and resentment?
It's about recognizing that there's enough for everyone. There's enough wealth to go around. It's not a competition. Someone else's success doesn't diminish your own potential.
Yeah. It's like expanding the pie instead of fighting over crumbs.
Right. And Murphy also talks about the importance of forgiveness, letting go of grudges, not just for their sake, but for your own.
Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself.
It is. It's about releasing those negative emotions so you can move forward with a clear heart and a positive mindset. And it's also important to remember that everyone's on a different journey.
Right. We're all on our own timeline.
Yeah. So comparison is a trap. When you're constantly comparing yourself to others, you're telling yourself that you're not good enough. And that's so damaging to your self-esteem and to your financial well-being.
So you got to stay focused on your own goals and celebrate your own unique path.
You do. Trust that the universe is unfolding things perfectly for you.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So we've got affirmations, we've got gratitude, we're releasing our fears, we're forgiving ourselves and others. What else? I know Murphy talks about the power of words.
Yes, he does. He emphasizes that you should use words that align with the reality you want to create.
So no more complaining about being broke.
No more complaining. Our words are incredibly powerful. They're not just sounds, they're vibrations that create your reality.
He talks about speaking with authority, believing that your words can bring about change.
He does. He often quotes from the Bible, saying, "Man shall decree a thing, and it shall come to pass."
Right. He has that amazing story about that man who was diagnosed with a heart condition and was told he needed surgery.
Yeah. And the guy was terrified. But Murphy told him to start using affirmations, to speak to his body with authority, declaring that he was healed.
So the man started saying, "I am healthy. God is my health."
Exactly. And his condition started to improve, and the doctors were amazed. He had a miraculous recovery just by changing his words.
That's incredible.
It is.
It really shows the power of words.
It does.
And it's not just about healing.
It's not.
Our words can create wealth, too.
They can.
When you use words of abundance.
You program your subconscious mind to attract more abundance.
So we all need to be mindful of our language.
Yes. Choose words that uplift you and inspire you. Your emotions are powerful magnets. When you feel good, you attract more good things into your life. Choose words that make you feel empowered, optimistic, and excited about your future.
Okay, so it's all about positive self-talk.
Yes, it is. And Murphy also recommends writing down your goals and reading them out loud with feeling. Really put your energy into it.
That's a good idea. It makes them feel more real. Okay, so we've got positive affirmations. We're being mindful of our language. We're writing down our goals. What else? Giving.
Giving.
Another one of those core principles.
It is. Giving is essential for attracting abundance.
Right.
What you give out comes back to you multiplied.
But it's not just about money, is it?
Not just money. Give your time, your energy, your talents, your love. Contribute to the world. Share your gifts.
I remember that story about the gigness man who was working so hard, but still couldn't make ends meet.
Yeah. Murphy told him to start tithing his time by volunteering.
So he started giving back, and that opened things up for him.
It did. His business took off.
Wow.
He got new clients, and his income went way up.
It's amazing how powerful giving can be.
It is. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be something small, like offering a kind word or helping someone out, even just a smile.
Okay, so we're giving back. using affirmations, being mindful of our words. What else? I know Murphy talks about visualization.
Yes, visualization is so powerful. When you create detailed pictures in your mind of what you want, you're basically programming your subconscious.
And you should use all your senses, right?
Yes. You have to see it, feel it, hear it, smell it, even taste it. The more real it feels, the more powerful it becomes.
He tells that story about the writer who was trying to write her first book.
Yeah. Murphy told her to close her eyes and imagine holding her published book. Feel the weight of it, smell the ink, see her name on the cover.
And she actually finished her book.
She did.
That's incredible.
It is.
It's like your imagination creates a blueprint.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you're not just daydreaming, you're actively creating.
Right.
You're harnessing the power of your imagination.
You are. And you also have to feel the emotions as if it's already happened.
So you don't just see it, you feel it.
Yeah. You embody the energy of what you want.
This is all making sense, but it sounds like a lot of work.
It is.
How do you stay motivated?
Murphy emphasizes that attracting wealth isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. You got to consistently align your thoughts, your feelings, your actions with what you want.
Yep.
He suggests setting aside time every day for prayer, meditation, visualization.
So having a daily routine is important.
It is. It helps you stay focused. And he also talks about not giving up, even when you don't see results right away.
Right. You got to be patient.
Yeah. The universe works on its own timeline. Sometimes things take longer than you want, but you can't give up. You got to keep trusting, keep believing, keep taking action. He tells a story about a man who was praying for a financial breakthrough, but he wasn't seeing any progress.
So he was getting discouraged.
He was. He wanted to give up, but Murphy encouraged him to keep going, to trust the universe.
And what happened?
A few weeks later, he got an inheritance from a relative he didn't even know.
Wow. So it pays to be persistent.
It does. The universe rewards those who don't give up.
Okay. So the key takeaway is don't give up. Trust the universe. Okay, so we've talked about all these different techniques.
Yeah.
But it seems like gratitude is the common thread.
It is. Gratitude is the foundation
Okay.
when you're grateful. You open yourself up to receiving more. Keep a gratitude journal. Write down what you're thankful for every day.
That's a good idea.
It is. It helps you appreciate all the good things that are already in your life.
And he also talks about telling other people you're grateful.
Yes. Expressing your gratitude creates a positive ripple effect.
Right.
It makes everyone feel good. It raises the vibration.
So gratitude isn't just about feeling good. It's actually attracting wealth.
It is.
This is also fascinating. I feel like we're just getting started.
We are.
There's so much more to learn.
There is.
But this is a good start
Yes.
for people who want to apply these principles
Yeah.
to their own lives.
Yeah.
I'm feeling really inspired.
Me too.
It really is a lot to take, but it makes you feel like you actually have some control. You're not just stuck with whatever happens to you.
Exactly. You have the power to change things. And it starts with that mindset of abundance, knowing there's more than enough wealth to go around. And you deserve your share.
Yeah, it's like shifting from, oh, there's not enough for everyone, to anything is possible.
Exactly. And then you start putting all these techniques into practice. Affirmations, visualizations, gratitude, letting go of fear, taking action. It all works together.
So for someone listening to all this and feeling overwhelmed, where do they even begin? What's the one thing they should focus on?
I would say start with gratitude. It's really the foundation of everything else. When you appreciate what you already have, you're opening yourself up to receiving even more.
I love that. So simple, but so powerful.
It is. Keep a gratitude journal. Write down all the things you're thankful for every day. And just see how your perspective changes.
And remember, it's not just about thinking positive thoughts.
Right.
You have to actually do something.
Right. You got to take action.
Okay.
Listen to your intuition. Follow those little nudges. And trust that the universe has got your back.
This has been such a great deep dive into Joseph Murphy's work. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface. But we've definitely learned some powerful techniques.
We have. And remember, it's all about abundance. And taking action. It's not a magic formula or anything. It's a journey.
Right.
A journey of self-discovery and growth.
Exactly. So for everyone listening, keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep believing that you have the power to create a life full of wealth and abundance.
And have fun with it. Enjoy the journey. Celebrate your wins. Learn from your challenges. And never give up on your dreams.
That's great advice. So keep those principles in mind, put them into practice, and watch as your financial reality transforms. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to Joseph Murphy's work if you want to learn more. Until next time, happy manifesting.